sleigh, red suit smelling like sawdust. He's been grinding all day. North Pole shop lights buzzing, elves lined up in a row. Safety goggles and coffee, watching that red beam glow. Sleigh bells and laser beams, Santa's burning up your dreams. From candy canes to steel keychains, he's etching every name it says. Sleigh bells and laser beams.
Hey, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful Memorial Day. We may have somebody join on here. We may not. So either way, we're going to kind of show you what I've been doing here in the shop today. As you all know, it is Memorial Day, and Memorial Day is a time for us to remember soldiers who gave the ultimate sacrifice in order for us to have the freedoms we have. And so I got to thinking when I was sitting out here a little while ago, and I was like, I wonder what I could do to kind of represent that. So before I get that, I'll tell you right quick that I had bought from Whippoorwill Charms an actual box of their blanks, which is these blanks right here. And as you can see, they're various sizes and that kind of stuff. And my original thought was I was going to use this one on the CO2, but unfortunately, it didn't work out very well for that. So ended up changing up. But what I ended up doing is I used some AI prompts that will show you right quick and see if you understand that we all can design. We can all take and use the tools that are there. You can either draw it from the very beginning. You can use AI to take and increase what your abilities are. And in this case, that's what I was doing is I was using my AI in order to take and increase the ability to create something rather quickly. Then you can take and make changes. Hey, Dwayne, good to see you. Appreciate you coming in and stopping in for a few minutes. Hope you've had a good Memorial Day. But so what I did is I went into Chat GPT and came up with this little prompt here. And basically what I said to it was create a laser engravable image that shows text that states Memorial Day arched across the top of a rounded top tombstone, straight edge sides, flat bottom that measures 4.85 inches wide and 6.75 inches tall. Showing the background a colonial soldier and a modern soldier looking into a World War II cemetery and a national cemetery. Below that text, you'll state that this is the cost of 250 years of freedom. Now, originally I said optimize the image for engraving on the birch plywood on a CO2 60-watt laser. But what I found is, like most people find, the amount that the CO2 as far as detail is concerned doesn't really work very well. And this being one of those that you have a lot of detail in, is something that it doesn't do well. So let me go in here and we'll answer the phone right quick. So what we'll end up doing here is I'll bring up my so in Xtool, in Xtool here, I'll bring in the image that it actually created. I think I put it on desktop actually. Yeah, there it is. Oh, wrong one. And this is why doing this in live is so much fun. Because if it's going to go wrong, where will it go wrong? In all right. Third time's charm, right? Hold on here just one second. Let me stop sharing that for a minute. You're exactly right, Dwayne. This is going to be a lot of fun because I have misplaced where I put that. So we're going to go back into my ChatGPT right quick. And we're just going to bring it back in. So done anything fun and exciting today, Dwayne, or you just kind of taking it easy? Thanks. All right, so now import. All right, now let's get back over here and share that screen again. So here we go. This is what we have, and I can't see the chat right now, so you guys have anything. So basically, this is what it ended up creating. It created a Memorial Day that cost 250 years of freedom. You can see the headstones in the background with the individuals that I'd asked for. So the first thing I ended up doing was I actually went into the trace. Now, when you do trace, the first thing you get's all this. And the one thing I found, if you take this fuzziness threshold and take it almost all the way up, you can get just that outer line, which is all I want because I want to mask this off so we don't show those white edges up here in the corners. So we'll take and do that. And now that we've got that done, we'll take and select both of these. We're going to create the mask. Create that. So there. Now, we have something that we can engrave. And this is a PNG file. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to set it right there for a minute. And I'm going to quickly roll over here to my machine. I'm going to put that piece right in there. And we will update, make sure it measures it off correctly. And while it's doing that, I'll go back over here and check our chat so far. Well, hello, Bill. How are you? Hope your Memorial Day is going well. We started off on a rough foot over here trying to do this little live right quick, but I think I'm starting to get a hold of it a little bit. So you can now see that I have in here my actual wood that's sitting on the machine. You'll also notice that it's laying in upside down versus the way I put in the photo. And that's because I wanted to use that corner bracket so I could have something that would repeat it. So we just, of course, take this and we'll rotate it 180 degrees. And then it's just a matter of sizing this thing up. And I'll go ahead and unlock the aspect ratio. And like I said, this came from Whippoorwill Charms. They're actually pretty nice. I'll show you both sides of one. Because what they're doing, they're just cutting blanks and then ended up sending you the blanks that they've cut. There is a little bit of flashback on the back side, which cleans up real easy with some LA awesome. But we'll just kind of put that in there. So now there's that. So one other thing you want to do with this is you want to be able to adjust this. And what I have found is, you see how dark this is right now? So what I ended up doing is I ended up making the sharpness at about 43. And then I ended up making the brightness to lighten it up to about 23. And so you can see how much lighter that gets. And that actually makes it a little easier to see on your, when you actually do your engrave, because what happens is it gets so dark you can't see anything. we've had showers on and off today. Started out this morning with a little bit of sunshine and got right around in the Jeep for a few minutes, and then it turned around and it's rained on and off since then. But luckily, like I said, I've been in the shop most of the afternoon, so I've had a pretty good time with that. So, kind of bundle are you thinking about? Are you talking about the? Yeah, it's actually it's pretty good, I believe. Like I said, the actual right here is one of them. You can see. I'll bring it back up here to where you can see me for a minute. So right here, you can see the little bit of flashback on the back of them, and then this is on the front, and this is just their little. It's actually a Christmas tag, is what they're usually call those. But so we'll go back over here and do this right here so you can see. So now I've got this in the system, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back over here, and we're going to do a preview right quick. Now, you can see, of course, you got the dots that are in there, and I've already got this set up. So my dot duration, I set it about 125, which is basically how long it dwells in Xtool. And the power I've got set at 80%, and then my dots per inch I've set it about 370. I played around a little bit with this Jarvis and the grayscale and that kind of thing. The grayscale, I just never could get it to come out right. When I would do the grayscale and then preview it, if you see the preview here, it still just looks really, really dark. So I didn't want to do it in grayscale. So I ended up choosing Jarvis. And so we'll send that to the printer now. And we'll hit the start button. And I'll stop sharing that. And we'll do the other camera. Well, say I'm going to. Camera. All right, so there. So now, hello, Ben Terry. How are you today? Hope your Memorial Days went really, really well. Trying this pop-up live today and having all the mistakes in the world, but that's okay. You learn as you go, correct? So let's see how this comes out here. So a lot of people, you hear a lot of people talk about AI and that kind of stuff, and I think sometimes, yeah, it's too much, and we don't like necessarily using it because we like to be creative and that kind of thing. But I can tell you, I've got almost 29 years of designing, and sometimes it's just easier to take and go ahead and do it while do it, and then you take and fix it, do whatever you can to it after that. If I was to draw this, I don't know how many hours I would have into it. And the ability to actually go in and use AI is a lot easier, I believe. On the iCare CO2. So, how do you think that compares to the other ones that you've used before so far, Steve? About the same, a little better. I'm sure some of the detail in it's coming out pretty good. You know, it seems like we might be a little bit light here, so I may have to run this a second time. And I just noticed over here on the right that I forgot to move my slate that I had been playing around with. I'm not one to take and spray slate most of the time, but I had actually found several pieces that were on somebody was selling, and they had taken and sprayed these. So I was just testing to see how the difference was. we'll turn the comments on here so everybody can follow along here as well. There we go. We're still learning this, and it'll take a few times. I have enjoyed my Monport CO2, even though it's the big one. I actually like the fact that you can use it to batch pretty good size, and that 20 by 28 bed is works well for me. And the other thing that you don't see now is this 60 watt that they sell now. They don't have it in the 20 by 28. You have to go up to the 80 now before you can get that. That's right, Dwayne. You have the same one that I have. Okay. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but you can see that it came out rather light. So I'm going to go back in here and we're going to up this a little bit. We'll come back over to sorry, I'm kind of having to deal with me for here a minute while I get this set back up. We're going to set the dot duration to about 300 this time. I'm going to leave it at 80, and I'm going to leave the dots per inch at 370. We'll send it over there to process a second time. So let me ask everybody, how's the video look right now with my new internet? I had to get a mesh to go in the building and that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping that it works a little better, because the last live I did ended up thanks. I appreciate that. Hopefully it'll keep that way. So I'll come back over here while that's running for a minute. And so what are you working on, William? Are you working on anything in the shop today? I guess the better question is, how many hot dogs and hamburgers does everybody eat today as well? Yeah, I like that saw that you had the other day, Dwayne. I was so tired from helping Mom move the last couple of days. I hadn't had a chance to really sit down and watch the whole thing, but that came out really good. Water and a banana is that a Minnesota thing? Is that for one other thing we will talk about at some point, I may make a video of it, or I may just end up doing a live of it too. One of the things that I see people having a lot of issues with is they don't understand concepts of drawing. And that's why this AI is kind of important for people who just started. But when you get along further, there's only so much you can get off the internet, and you'll have your own ideas and stuff. But they don't understand planes. They don't understand symmetry. They don't understand a 2D view versus an isometric view. So, you know, that's some of the things that I want to kind of go over. My years in AutoCAD and stuff is going to help with that some, I believe, and hopefully can help some others. So, hey, Steve Smart here. Steve's an old friend of mine from back in the woodworking days. He was one of the woodworking members. He makes all kinds of furniture and cabinet work and things like that. Does a wonderful job. So, but yeah, I made it back from home fine. It was a long ride and a lot of rain. It was raining when we left Rutherford County. It ended up getting just drizzle most of the way, and then we got back into Craven County where I live at now. It became a downpour. So it was nice to be back and finally got Mom moved. So we're good all the way around. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your Memorial Day. Now I have to get you on one of my lives, Steve, so we can show some of your stuff. So that one finished that time. And so there it is. Hey, Three Dogs, how are you today? So basically, let's flip back over here to the other camera. So here it is, the little finished product. Of course, you can hang it up or whatever, but it comes out pretty good. Now, the only thing that I would, if I was to complain about it or anything like that, is of course it's running with the grain instead of against the grain. And I don't know how well you can see that, but you can see, if you look at it closely, you've got some streaks in there. So I could have done a little better on that. But other than that, I think everything's going well. I need to turn this phone off. So, but like I said, there it is again. And like I said, it's AI generated, I believe. And actually, I didn't use this one from X Tool because I was creating it originally to do a CO2. My thought is I would have to take and enlarge it big enough for it to come out well in a CO2. But I didn't do that. So well, thank you, William. I appreciate that. So Three Dogs is working on his rollies for his air purifying system. So I like, as far as you having a rollie right now, I hope you get great service out of them. But do you have any idea what you might do afterwards, as far as if those machines finally break down, what you may go to next? Let me show you some of this other stuff right quick. We were talking about, so in that bundle, you get some of these round that are also ornament type. You get a big set of round ones. And this was what I was wanting to originally do this on, but the CO2 would just not do it. So it's a bigger version of that. And then basically they have little frames that they have cut this part out of. And finally you have some oval shaped ones. And like I said, for I think it was $65, I believe it was, to get that many different blanks that are already pre-cut, so that I can use them, directly, and it just makes it a little bit easier. So, okay, Steve, I'll definitely get up with you. We'll get you on a live, because I've got scheduled up through I think through August right now. So I'm kind of proud about that. The Santa and the Maker seems to be a little bit of a good thing as far as people saying they'll join. I'm sure I've got a lot to learn still as far as interviewing these people, but I'm really enjoying the fact that they're telling us how they became makers, where they went from to where they are, and those kind of things. So no actual plans yet. You just have the spare parts in case. Yep. Well, that was the best way to do it, and I kind of hated to see, because I'd have liked to seen their, what they call it, flying Galvo as well. I think that would have been interesting to see how that one came out, because I never saw very many people say much bad about the Rolly. You always heard fairly good things, and it's like any other laser, you're going to hear the good and bad as well. But just never had an opportunity to pull the trigger on those. So between my F2 and the two Mon ports I have, I've got plenty right now. Reaching the bottom of the barrel, am I? So, hey, Jack, how are you? I actually sent you an email just a few minutes or a little while ago. So if you got it, let me know. Otherwise, I'll send it again. But like I said, this one's kind of a simple and quick one. Like I said, this is what we created, Jack. In case you didn't see it, I used AI to do that. Used the Whippoorwill Charms blanks, but the one thing is they've got the flashback on the back of it, and so we'll take right quick and put a little LA Awesome on here. Yep. And it got 90% of it off. You can still see the edges there are kind of burn a little bit, but I think if I scrub just a little bit more, I could get them all off. But I like I said, I think it's a decent bundle for what you get. Well, we've got Rich in the house. I feel Venturi and Rich both in the same place. Wow, I'm feeling privileged today. So I sent it to Jack at jackintheshop.com. So, how are you today, Rich? How are you enjoying your Memorial Day? I know it's a banner day for Santa Claus today. So what they don't know is, I see all. So, so they're all having to be on their best behavior today. So, work till 4 a.m. on a new file. Well, we just got through doing. I did an AI and put it on one of these Memorial Day. The cost of 250 years of freedom. So that's kind of what I'm not sure if you were designing or what, but I was making the point that, I've spent almost 30 years designing, working with AutoCAD. And since AI's come out, the ability to be able to take and just quickly create something and then change it or whatever, I think that's great. Now, it can be overused, of course. Okay, multi-layer. Okay, I can see why that would take a while. So, but I know I saw where Jack in the Shop had made a video for his 3D printer where he was using Bamboo's Maker World to create a light box for it. So I'm gonna have to make some more of those. I've made one myself. So, okay, all right, Jack. I'll send you another email later. We'll work on that. But like I said, that was all I really had today. I thought I would take a few minutes from this Memorial Day and hang out with a few of you guys and show you what I had done. The one thing that I do find is a lot of people's frustrations also are with the fact that when they do something in AI, they don't give it enough information, or they give it conflicting information. So it's something you have to be careful of as well. You kind of, in your mind, you know what you want to see, and if you can communicate that into something that is, to actually physically write it down, that helps a lot. So make sure that you understand what you want to do with it. And also, like on the prompt that I use, tell it what kind of material you're going to use, along with if it's a CO2 or a diode or something along those lines, and the shape of it. Go ahead and measure it. Tell it what the measurements are. Because what that does is, if you give it measurements and you have to even if it doesn't come in the right size when you bring it into your software, when you take and change it, the ratios will stay the same. And that way, when you shrink it down or expand it, whatever you need to do with it, those ratios will be correct once you get it on your piece. So stir. So you tried the stir. I had never heard of it till Rich said it. I'll say something. Steve Smart, that was on here just a little while ago. I don't know if he's still on here or not. Coming from Western North Carolina, we have liver mush. And so you hear of souse, you hear of liver pudding and that kind of stuff. But the only difference is liver mush has a lot of cornmeal in it. And when I go back home, I have to have some liver mush. So I came back from our trip this past weekend with several sticks of liver mush to have. So exactly right, William. The more information you can give it, the better it'll create something for it. Yeah, spicy liver mush is good too. So I enjoy that as well. But going back home, there's a place called Wells, Jenkins and Wells, and that is the place to go. They make that, and they also make some homemade pimento cheese that is out of this world. So got a little bit of that too. So it's all good. But yeah, going back to creating your text for inside any kind of AI. The other thing is the fact you can put so much information in there, and I've done it on 2 separate occasions. I put enough information in there that I thought it would be okay, but the problem was it created stick figures because I asked it to create a SVG, and I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't have a reason why it does that yet. But I said, create a SVG that whatever the prompt was after that. And it created a stick figure of only that information. It didn't actually generate any image first on top of that. One prompt, start a new AI chat with that. Well, that's true too, Jack. Jack says that, another thing that he does is he takes the results from one prompt and starts an AI chat out of that. The longer the prompt gets, the more it goes off the rails. And that's true. And the same thing to what I was talking about just a minute ago. When you put it in and you're almost too specific, I guess, because like I said, so Louisiana hobby guys saying, don't ask for SVGs, ask for PNG, and then you can trace. Yeah, and I believe that's what the problem was, Rich, because like I said, on 2 separate occasions, I'd ask it for SVG up front, and it would show me a stick figure of some sort, and that of course, that does you no good. So is anybody else? We've had a few more come in. Anybody done anything in their shop today for Memorial Day? Ask for high contrast black and white images. Okay. And how does that help you out, Jack? Is it just because of the contrast itself that it burns actually better? Because you'll if you go back and watch this, you'll see that I changed some of the settings actually on the PNG that I insert in order to get it light enough, and that may have been what I didn't do with what you're talking about. Right, it's how you word for things, yeah, and but I like I said before, I think you can be too specific about it sometimes. So, but high contrast makes it easier to trace some more details. Well, here's my question about the trace. Okay. Hey, Radu, how are you? Glad you could join us. So, the trace, and I'm still learning that part of it because you have those different elements that you can take and manipulate in there. What does everybody find as far as the trace command that helps them the most to create your engravings? Which one do you usually use? Because I have tried them all, both in Lightburn and in Xtool now, and I can't seem to find a standard that, okay, regardless of which software I'm using, I need to at least change these two. Let's go back over here. Finished. And we'll go in here and run the trace. My saved image prompts are between 1,000 and 4,000 words long. Used. Okay. Rich is saying his saved image prompts are between 1,000 and 4,000 words long, and then he uses Gemini to create it. And then based off of what we were talking about a minute ago, Jack's talking about he always traces because I go deep in the node editing to get what I want. Okay. So Rich, in your prompt, is it a standard prompt that you go back in and put, in other words, you have a standard, I want to create a PNG that, and then it has a blank and you put that portion in, or how do you actually do that? Because most of the time what I'm doing is I just go in and start with just from the very beginning. Yeah, he just changes the subjects. Okay. So, and I guess you created the prompt itself on its own, or did you also use Gemini to create that to start with as well? Because I haven't tried. I've tried Gemini just messing around a little bit, but I haven't used it. Most of mine have been through Chat GTP. And I like William there. Just like and hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate it very much. So we were talking about let me go back over here, see if I can pull it back up again. Here's the screen. So I'm gonna lose everybody here for a minute. So this is the trace command, and so you have the two options. This is in Xtool, of course. The auto trace, the center trace, and then the fuzzy threshold, the denoising, and the smoothness. Now, like I said earlier, when I was doing this, all I wanted to do was create that outer edge line so that I could use it to take and crop out everything that in the background. So I take and run that run it a little not far enough to basically try to get one line. Now that one's giving me more than that, but there we go. So that when I want to mask something off, that's what I'll do is I'll run that fuzziness up and down. But my problem is I don't understand. I understand the denoising as far as it's trying to smooth along with this smooth, but I'm not sure how these three work in unison. So that's something I'm still learning. So if you guys have any suggestions or thoughts on that as well, please share them. So you use Gemini to create a prompt and then redefined it 10 to 11 times. Yeah, that's and that goes back to what you were talking about, to have 1,000 to 4,000 words. The more information you put in there, it seems like the better it comes out. And crafted using ChatGTP and Perplexity. There's a million versions of it. The free version of Gemini, 20 generated. And now that's the only thing about ChatGTP. GPT. I can't say that word today for some reason. GPT is, I think you can only make like 3 iterations with the free version right now. Use Lightburn, import PNG, and then export it as a processed image. Then import the processed image and trace it. Much better results. Okay. Now you're talking about bringing it into Xtool, or you're talking about just bringing it in general once you have created as a processed image? I would assume you're talking about processed image, because I've also seen where you can make it. What is? I don't have Lightburn called up right now, but and here's some more we're talking about: ChatGTP, Claude, Nano Banana, and so there's an endless amount of possibilities that you can go to, and I would assume they're probably all about the same as far as their value and what you can do with them. Now, my other question is I know back in my college days, I messed with CNC machines and metal fabrication machines and all that kind of stuff, but I've not tried any since I've started using lasers. Have you guys used any of the AI stuff to create any of that? I know, like I said, I know Jack in the shop used the Bamboo's, what was it called? Light Maker, the world, Bamboo Maker's World, in order to do that. But I didn't know if you had anybody's used it for that. So process it, light burn, and then export it as an SVG. Okay. So Radu's asking, Rich, I know how much you love those little pieces pop-ups when doing kerf test. Have you seen the Lightburn's new tool? I have not upgraded to 2.1 yet. I just haven't had a chance to do it. I knew I was going to be in here today. Just enjoying my day, Memorial Day weekend. So I've not done that yet. And I know Rich, I think, put up a couple of issues that some people were seeing, maybe a video. I haven't seen it yet, but I think I saw that he's put up a few things that you'll have to kind of go around and redo. But 90% of the time, there are going to be small things like that. Yeah, Maker Lab. That's what I was trying to say a minute ago. Yeah. So you did it using the AI itself for 3D, for CNCs and type stuff like that. And he hasn't seen, but he hasn't tested. So, well, I started out with something simple. Gonna try and show you guys what I've done, and we've actually had a nice little conversation here. I appreciate everybody stopping in for a few minutes and taking and talking. We got a little bit of information about using AI and some of the different AI products that are out there. So hopefully we'll do this a little bit more. Well, Jack, I guess you need to post it then, since you so, but like I said, it's yeah, I'm enjoying more and more of the live streams. I like the interaction with everybody, and that's why I'm also doing the Santa and the Maker. I like the fact that you have a one-on-one conversation, and a lot of you guys I'm going to be asking, and some of them I've already asked, and some of them you either missed the email or I'll be sending you another email. So, but I hope to get a lot of you here. Okay, I would appreciate that, because that would be something that I could use. Because, like I said, when you've done drafting for 30 years, you're always trying to find the best and easiest way to get around things like that. And I'm really good at AutoCAD, but it's been a bit. And I'll tell you something else too. Being that I come from that background, when I first went into Lightburn and Xtool and all that, and it being quote unquote limited versus my experience, it's taken a little bit of learning to understand how that worked as well. So, what is the new tool? And not sure what you're talking about there, Three Dogs. Anybody else know what he's talking about with a new tool in Lightburn? You haven't upgraded, but you haven't really messed with it that much. Yeah, that's the way I am. Like I said, I know I had several little things to finish up, like you saw a while ago that I was playing around with that piece of slate that somebody else had already done, but you always are a little apprehensive, and you always want to save the old version so that way you can go back to it if you need to. Yeah, native. Yeah, they've got a new nesting feature in there. Had read several of the things that were in there, but I kind of forgot it because I had so much going on. But I know there's several upgrades, and then one of their biggest things was for was it EasyCAD 2 or EasyCAD 3, being able to use that. So yeah, and we've got the guru here of Lightburn anyway, so Rich knows his stuff on Lightburn, and so if you ever have a problem with Lightburn, or you need to go back and see how something needs to be done, he's the guy that you want to go see. And he's got a video out, so everybody go look at his new video, because he's like I said, like I just got through saying, he's really good at Lightburn. So, and if I'm not mistaken, you have your background's in computers anyway, so you have an understanding, correct, Rich? Well, everybody, I think that's about all I have today. Rich has a Q&A scheduled for June the 10th with Jason Dory. That will be one that I'll definitely have to see. Actually, no, what time is that going to be at, Rich? Because I have somebody scheduled for one of the lives then. But I will tell you a quick story. I don't know if anybody saw my other video. I had an issue with Lightburn that came about by watching another live. And so I put out the video and then got a call back from him, or a text message back from him. And we talked through it. And the amount of back and forth between us kind of really, it didn't shock me. It amazed me that the fact that they were that willing to go back and forth with an issue you had. So that's another thing. If you have an issue with it, send them an email. Let them know what the issue is. Because, and I can only speak for myself. The experience was great because we were back and forth for probably 2 days, and actually found a small error that they had that in there. So. Okay, so it's going to be at 8 o'clock Central Standard. So here here in the eastern section, it'd be 9 o'clock. So, and Jack lives on the same coast I live on, so that's why he says 9 o'clock is the real time. So, but William, I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate everybody stopping by. We're coming up on about an hour, and I didn't figure we would have more than about 15, 20 minutes, and I really do appreciate everybody coming. I hope you can, if you will, like and subscribe to my channel. Also, I've got the YouTube page as well, or my YouTube page, my Facebook page. I'll show those right quick down here. And so if you get an opportunity, like and subscribe to those as well, because I'm like the rest of you. I have just started. I've been doing this almost a year, a little over a year now, and just being able to learn from you guys, people like Steve, Venturi, Rich, Jack, all these guys that are in here now, the guys that you see every day, you know, Clack, those other guys like that. It's amazing how much there is to learn, but at the same time, you can learn it if you just take your time, and you've got to work through the problems. That's the biggest thing or the two biggest things I see is you have to understand that you have to work through a problem. There's not necessarily going to be a solution every time you look at Facebook or YouTube. Sometimes you have to take and use your logic and work through it. So that's just one of the things that I see. The other thing, being a Santa, and I think I told this in either one of the shows or maybe in one of my own lives, being a Santa Claus, the one thing that I do see is when Christmas comes around, these kids ask for the new laser. They ask for the new 3D machine. Well, the problem is they don't understand what they're getting because they think it's plug and play. The advertising has got so good that they think it's plug and play. But then on top of that is the fact that their parents are just getting it because they wanted it and don't understand it as well. And sometimes they don't take the time to do it. But like we went back to the beginning, AI is helping with that a little bit so they can at least create something, because all of us who've ever been a creator, my very first thing that I ever did was woodworking. And to be able to put a few things together and actually create something, that's what everybody wants. That's what every creator is doing, is we're going to make something, whether it's our design or something we find in a book, magazine, or whatever, and we create. So that's where it starts from. So, but thank you, everybody. I appreciate you coming, and I agree 100%. Laser community is the best hobby community on YouTube. It is exactly that. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of the makers are. There's a few that I have already seen a lot of negativity in, but the thing is if you can weed that out, these communities, there's a lot of people that's, you know, helping all of us learn. And no matter whether you're Rich, Venturi, me, you know, regardless of your experience level, you're always going to learn something new. So, and I guess I will end up and just round this off and say I appreciate everybody coming again. I appreciate everybody's time and appreciate you participating. So everyone have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time.
Order forms on the workbench, wish list stacked to the sky. He's engraving Merry Christmas on a stainless steel tie.